Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome in. It's another week of the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV, also Delmarva's Rock Radio and Strongest Signal, Ravens affiliate here on the Eastern Shore, 93.5 The Beach. Welcome in. It's week number 7 of the NFL, week number 6 for your now 4-1 Baltimore Ravens. We are broadcasting from the Ravens Room of the Blue Ox, 127th Street, Coastal Highway in Ocean City. Ravens Roost 44 here with us. Give us a always a good turnout. Well, coming up, we're going to recap the 29-14 victory over the Houston Texans. We'll also get our inside scoop with our insider, Tony Lombardi from Ravens247.com. We got the whole crew for that one this time. We'll also get our pros perspective from Bruce, and we'll preview the upcoming game against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday night. I'm Mike Bradley. That's former All-Pro Baltimore Crow, Bruce Laird. Welcome in once again.
Thank you, Mike. Good to be here.
Tony Lombardi, editor-in-chief from Ravens247.com.
That's for Bruce.
Tony Lombardi from Ravens247.com. And John Garrick, OC local, Lehigh College player, and as I mentioned, entrepreneur.
Young. Oh, he's the oldest of the young
entrepreneurs, right?
Hey, they carded me.
There you go.
When I walked in to get the
entrepreneurs
award,
get together?
I got carded. It was great.
You better just love that, man. Don't ever complain about that.
Well, guys, it's hard to believe 29-14 victory for the Ravens, yet not a whole lot went right for the Ravens. Joe Flacco sacked twice, hurried 7 times. He lost a fumble. The Ravens had a tough time in the red zone, 2 of 4 from down there, but they had a lot of chances almost near the red zone where they didn't end up scoring. The defense failed to register a takeaway for the first time in 10 games since last November. Yet the Ravens win 29-14. They trailed in the third quarter before scoring 13 points. They come out the victors. You know, Bruce, they talked about needing a game like this against a good team where they got challenged, pushed it home, and they responded, especially in the second half.
They certainly did. And the Houston Texans coming into the bank, they're on the road. They've lost 2 tremendous players in Andre Johnson and then Mario Williams. They're down, and they came to play. That's one thing that you got to give them credit for. And let me tell you, their defensive front of the Houston Texans took it to our offensive line for the first 30 minutes all day long. They couldn't control them. They delayed their stunts a little bit. They delayed sending 5 and 6. And Joe Flacco, give him a lot of credit. He didn't have a good first half, but let me tell you, can you throw the ball on your back? That's what I wanted to. He was on his back, hit an awful lot of the time, and they made it hard on him.
I think Bruce brings up a good point, Tony. This is a good football team. Even without Mario Williams, Andre Johnson, this is one heck of a football team that came to play. So I think it speaks to Houston's depth. They were still very good. So for those saying, it's so-so a win because without their big guys, but no, they got a lot of other guys that stepped up.
Well, a lot of times, and Bruce can tell you this too, that when you lose big players like that, the other guys really step it up a notch. And you have to when you're a good team. And they're a well-coached team. And I agree with you. They've really made a good use of their draft picks. They've got a lot of talent on that football team. And as Bruce said, they pushed the line of scrimmage early in that game. And, you know, there's a lot of people that have been criticizing Joe Flacco, but one thing you cannot criticize him for is his toughness. That guy is one tough SOB. I mean, I'm telling you.
That's right.
No question about that.
John, you know, you look at this Ravens team, we talk about tale of halves, and it really was for the Ravens. But the biggest thing, getting off to a quick start, they did that in this game, but then Houston hangs in there. It's 10-7 at the half. But something that the Ravens didn't do last year, fourth quarter play, they've really come to play in the fourth quarter this year.
Yeah, I tell you, it was the first drive, taking control of the first quarter, getting a lead, getting the fans into it, and you know, it was kind of a lull there. And I tell you, I just think the Ravens make things harder on them. So Ray Rice is one of the best players in the league, and for him to touch the ball, to have 8 rushes in the first half is criminal. It's a crime that he's not the main focus of the offense. And you know, I think Joe's life would be easier. He wouldn't be on his back so much if we just committed to one of the best guys in the league who happens to be on our team and on our side. You see him, he's out there screaming at the sidelines. So it's not just us that want him to touch the ball. But I tell you, they came out in the second half, 5 of the 6 possessions turned out to be touchdown or scores. You convert them to touchdowns, and this isn't even a close game. So
Bruce, you talked about the pressure. I thought on that first drive we saw a maturation of Joe Flacco stepping up in the pocket, throwing pressure in his face, making the defense pay for the pressure. I mean, 7 of 8 on that first drive, 16 plays, 97 yards. It took 8 minutes and 47 seconds. By the time Houston got the ball back in the first quarter, it was, I think just a minute left on the clock. But that first drive, I think, looks like the kind of offense you'd like to see, again, continue to be consistent and take it to the next level.
Well, absolutely. I mean, by the numbers, how do you take the ball that long, 97 yards, and do that? And again, Flacco, 3 or 4 of those completions he had, he knew the man was in his face. He let the ball go through precise passes and took a beating. He was like the old Timex commercial for you older folks in here. Timex, he put it on his watch and some guy dove off of, a cliff. Take a beating. Took a look and kept on ticking. He did a heck of a job. And again, they need to continue to get the ball, as John mentions, in Ray Rice's hand. And I think Cam gets it, that he's starting to listen to his players a little bit more.
All right, coming up, we're going to talk more about this game. Also, as I mentioned, we'll preview the upcoming game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, when we come back, we'll let you know about a great contest we have about a trip to San Diego later in the month. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV at Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
What's going on?
We're giving Matt the NFL experience of a high-pressure field goal.
Look out! It's terrible, man!
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Hey, it gets easier. Really? No.
The Ravens Wrap Show here from the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City, here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach. I want to thank some of our sponsors, Bud Light, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, our old digs at the original Green Turtle right down the street on 116th Street. Also, FlyLady.net, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, the Blue Ox here, and also our newest sponsors, JCTickets.net. JC's Tickets, where the games begin, providing great seating locations to all Ravens home games, plus first-class trips to Ravens road games that include airfare, 4-star hotel, game tickets, and cocktail parties. And guys, here's the thing. If you're watching out there, you want to come down to as many Ravens Wrap Show as possible here at the Blue Ox, because you get a free raffle ticket, and those are good for a chance to win a December trip to San Diego for 2. The drawings during our November 30th show. Plus, we've got weekly drawings for Ravens merchandise with John, which John will give out a little bit later. So the more shows you come to, the more chance you have at winning not only some gifts here, but also that chance to go to San Diego. That's
Is it a
good.
round trip ticket?
I'm still hosting.
Well, it's actually it's a trip for one, because Bruce is going to be your all-encompassing tour guide.
I'm hosting that trip. We will do cocktails and cocktails.
So wait a minute, is it a prize or a
We'll go to the zoo and then we'll do cocktails.
He's got the whole thing
Go
back
to the
down already.
aquarium and then we'll do cocktails.
Did you hear about the animals that escaped in Ohio?
Yeah, Zanesville. Yeah, crazy.
Lions and
We'll have to
tigers
talk
and
about
bears.
that coming on the radio a
Lions,
little
tigers,
bit. Yeah. Well, guys, let's get back to the 29-14 victory, the Ravens over the Houston Texans, and I think one of the things, Tony, we've talked about time and time again with this offense this year is having that deep threat ability. And while the offense, it didn't look really good in the first half, the offensive line struggled. In the second half, you had two big plays, and grant you they only led to 6 points, but the fact that the Ravens could do that now, shift field position, that's huge. And as John Harbaugh talked about, it's high risk, high reward, but all you have to do is hit on a couple of those in the league or in a game.
And they did that on Sunday with Torrey Smith and with Anquan Bolden. I got to tell you, that throw, I mean, we're going to get into Joe Flacco a little bit later, and we're going to talk about some of the good and the bad with Joe Flacco, but one of the things you can't deny is that this guy's got a tremendous arm. I mean, when you can throw the ball from outside the right hash mark from the 25-yard line and hit your receiver on the left side of the left hash mark, 55 yards downfield, in the face of pressure, when you get hit, and make a completion right in stride, that's saying a lot about your quarterback.
John, I have to ask you. I mean, Matt Stover for many years did more than yeoman's effort for this team, carried this team offensively. But what can you say about Billy Cundiff? He cannot go unnoticed here. 5 field goals, the kickoffs into the end zone. I mean, this guy's absolutely made us forget about Matt Stover for a while.
Didn't forget about him?
Never, number 3.
Stover was a key part of, some of the Ravens' best teams, and now we have another kicker. When you don't have to worry about special teams and you just plug him in and know that he's going to get the job done. He's going to make the field goals. He can kick them from all over the place. He's not going to give the guys, the dangerous returners, any type of field position. He's going to kick it out of the back of the end zone. That is just a luxury for your coaching staff and the players, and it helps with roster decisions. So having Cundiff is really one of the key Ravens, just like Stover was.
Maybe a poor choice of words, not that we forget about him, but the fact that he's been able to pick up where Matt Stover left off.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't even have to have anybody else on the field with Billy Cundiff kicking off.
Right.
They can rest the other 10 guys.
Kickoff touchbacks.
I think the band was ducking on one of those plays.
Well, Gary Stein does the press box stuff, and I'm sitting in the press box. He goes, "That definitely is a touchback. It's in the stands." I mean, it was just incredible that he can kick the ball over 65 yards.
And there were some tricky crosswinds out there, too.
Absolutely, especially going that way.
Bruce, you played for what, how many years? 14 years?
14
years. Ray Rice, 4th year now.
Wait a minute, you don't know that?
I should know that.
I'm going to find
I know, it's all, we've only done this 4 years.
He's not going to San Diego with me.
That's right.
14 years, Bruce.
I'll hide the bags, but 14 years. Ray Rice into his 4th year with the team. He steps up at halftime and says, guys, let's stop shooting ourselves in the foot. No matter the play call, let's get it done. You see the maturation from Ray Rice on Sunday, and boy, they responded.
There's no question about it. And I was talking to Kevin Byrne at the halftime, and we were sitting there, and he goes, "You hated little backs, didn't you?" And I said, not only did I not like little backs, but little backs that are powerful like a Ray Rice is one of the hardest things you have to tackle, because you have to break down, and he's so strong and so physical within the thighs and the upper body, you're going to take a beating. I mean, little water bugs is okay because you break down, you can just throw them down, you hit them high. But a guy like that, I mean, he's just a nightmare. I'd rather hit 270 pounds all day long than hit a little back like Ray Rice, because you got to break down, and he doesn't give you much room. That strike zone, when you're hitting Ray Rice out in the football field, used to be like this. With Ray Rice, it shrinks to like about that.
And when you break down, you don't hit with authority.
No, I mean,
and you slow down.
Right.
When you do that too, so yeah.
And this is my whole point here. I mean, this guy is in his prime right now, and he's feeling it. He's in the groove, and he's linemen. It's much easier for these linemen. When you're in the NFL and you made it to that level, these are just big, mean, nasty guys, and it's much easier for them to run block and get in the groove, beating these other guys up. We say this every week. I just don't understand why we don't get in a groove running the ball, and why we're getting cute with all this passing. Joe.
Well, we'll get into that, Joe. We'll get into that.
But 19 pass plays and 8 run plays with the best running back in the league. Perhaps.
I hear you. Ray Rice not only a threat in the
It's
backfield.
driving me crazy. I can't take it anymore.
All right, more of the Ravens Wrap Show coming up. We'll also talk about the late Pat Modell. That's next on the Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Beach TV.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
It's the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach. Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Tony Lombardi, and John Gehrig. And guys, before we talk any more about the win over the Texans, 29-14 this past Sunday, Pat Modell was laid to rest on Monday, I believe it was.
Yes.
They honored her on Sunday, of course, the wife of Art Modell. And I know you had a few words that you wanted to pass along.
Yeah, I wanted to give my best to the Modell family for their loss. She was a great lady. Not only did she care about her family, she cared about the NFL family and stayed at Art's side for all those years. And her own career was unbelievable. She was an actress, and she gave so much in the community of Cleveland, and then again in Baltimore. She'll be sorely missed, and a dear, dear friend of the retired player community of the National Football League. And I had the opportunity to see Art at his home that night, and we just wanted to give the Modell family the kudos they deserved. Art Modell came in the league in '61. He started all this stuff. There wouldn't be Monday Night TV if he didn't get the powers that be to push on that. And it's a big, big loss for the NFL family and the Modells.
29-14, Ravens over the Texans. We talked a lot about the offense here so far. Let's talk a little bit of defense. Going up against a team that's got a really solid offensive line. We talked about this last week, a veteran quarterback who you can blitz him, but he's going to pick you apart a little bit. I thought the Ravens did a good job, especially in the second half, backing off a little bit with the blitz, mixing and matching a little bit, not getting burned over the middle as much. The Ravens players talked about that, but they had the right mix. And again, this secondary guy seems to be progressing. Kerry Williams and Ladarius Webb have done a solid job.
They really have, and when you think about what those guys are doing, and they've got Jimmy Smith, who's going to be coming back someday, Chris Carr someday, but when they do, we've talked about this last week, that the Ravens haven't really gelled yet, and when they do, they're going to be a scary team because both on offense and defense, there's guys that are missing. When they come back into the fold, not only do they get better because these guys are now deepening the roster, but the guys that are playing for them now, the next man up, they've got more game experience, and it just makes them a better team in the long run.
Yeah, I tell you, Ravens have been a little bit fortunate. We talked about this, playing some teams with some key injuries. And really, when you lose a guy like Andre Johnson, who you put him with Calvin Johnson, pick one, and they're the best in the game for a long best that's been in the game for a long time. Yeah. I mean, Andre Johnson is beastly. So you take him out, and you make a team one-dimensional. And Arian Foster, we talked about him being a dynamic back. But when you're one-dimensional against the Ravens, year after year after year, that's just, you're not going to get it done if the Ravens force you into being one-dimensional. And he had a tough game, had a couple big drops. And Owen Daniels was clearly the focus of the Ravens' defense in the secondary, and that Pollard.
You saw that on a touchdown play.
On the touchdown, Pollard just went up, three guys around Owen Daniels. So, it was, you give up two scoring plays the whole game, and you can't fault the defense one bit here.
And John, what I really liked about that, again, is the play of both the offensive and defensive front of the Texans. Chuck Pagano sent more pressure than we've seen in the first 4 games at all. He sent 5, he sent 6 a lot of times. And let me tell you, when he was sending 5 and they were 5-on-5, the Houston Texans were matching up, good protection, and we were getting killed in the middle of the field early on. A lot of plays were being done, and as you said, Mike, Pagano looked at halftime and said, let's dial it down a notch. Let's get it going, and only going in 10-7 at halftime. That's not what Harbaugh wanted. That's not what the fans wanted, but they certainly had a great 30 minutes.
And I tell you, Schaub is a little like Hasselbeck, too. So you can tell with Pagano, he did not want a veteran QB to be picking apart, even without an Andre Johnson, to just, be smart.
We saw that before.
Yeah, so he, to his credit, you're right, Bruce. I mean, he mixed it up.
And you mentioned going into half, 10-7. When they went into half, they called timeout for that Hail Mary play. And I got to tell you, rushing one guy, big mistake. Big mistake. I mean, they rushed.
I saw that front.
They rushed Terrell Sugg and the other two guys. I think they called Domino's. Are they a sponsor?
No.
Well, I think they called Domino's anyway. And they said, they could have had a pizza when I was standing there in the middle of the field doing nothing. Meanwhile, they got this cluster in the end zone. If one of those guys breaks out, because Schaub could have done whatever he wanted there, could have been a disaster at the end of the half.
That's a good point. A couple of key plays in the game. There was a 4th and 1 where Arian Foster, they run it right, and hey, you're not going anywhere against this Ravens rush defense. I mean, this has continued to be a tradition for this team, and now you bring in, you know, the likes of Pernell McPhee. Obviously, Terrence Cody has made leaps and bounds in year 2. You've got Arthur Jones, a nice fresh mix, Brandon McKinney. Guys, they're making teams one-dimensional once again this year.
They certainly are, and again, they were struggling on 3rd down completions a little bit early on. But then again, third and longs, they got it. But then again, in the second half, the Ravens tightened up defensively. But the front of the Ravens, that's the key. And again, who cares about the numbers? The big thing is get a lead on some people, get up 7, get up 10, and just play base defense.
And let them go after the quarterback.
And let them go.
Right. John, I thought, too, to be fair to the Ravens defense in the first half, we weren't getting a whole lot of pressure, but they were using some 8-man protections there. It's pretty tough to get after any quarterback when you're protecting 8.
Yeah, Schaub clearly wasn't, pretty good quarterback. He clearly wasn't comfortable, and that's really, you don't need to hit him or even knock him down or sack him all the time. You make the quarterback have to think or just take an extra half a second to, the guy's not where he's supposed to be. So there's a lot that goes into that, and the Ravens, did a great job there.
We'll talk more about this game. Also, we'll take a quick trip around the AFC North and give out our grades from this game as well. The Ravens 29-14, they're 4-1 now. We'll talk about it more. It's a Ravens Wrap show here for the Blue Hawks, 116th Street, 27th Street, at Ocean City on Comcast Beach TV.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
Come see us at Blue Hawk.
Welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show, broadcasting from the Blue Hawks, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens 93.5 The Beach. From the Ravens room here, Ravensers 44, give yourselves a hand. Always good coming off a victory. Hey, I want to thank our sponsors, of course, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill here, our Old Digs, the Original Green Turtle, Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and our newest sponsor, JCTickets.net. And here's the deal, folks. If you're watching us, you want to come down and join us in person, because the more you do so, the more you have a chance at winning here at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. You get free raffle tickets for a chance to win a December trip for 2 to San Diego. The drawing's coming up November 30th. And, of course, yes, the Ravens play out in San Diego that weekend. Plus, we've got weekly drawings for some great Ravens merchandise. We'll do that next segment. So the more shows you come to, the more chances you have at winning. Guys, some final few remarks and comments about the victory over the Texans. I'll just start real quickly. Ray Lewis, 12 tackles, 1 sack. He's the first player in the 92-year NFL history to have 40 sacks and 30 interceptions.
Well, there's no question he's a first-round Hall of Famer. He's one of the best that's ever played the game. But I'd like to be doing the stats that he had 12 tackles. But anyway, I mean, the man's been around. He's playing 16 years. God bless him. I don't know how he did it. After my 12th season, I felt like I couldn't even start the car in the morning. Never mind, put on a uniform. But you know, he's one of those freaks of nature, and he keeps on playing well. And again, that's what they should do with him. They should have him rushing the passer on all second and third and long, and I think Chuck Pagano's using him the right way.
Yeah, I think you're right, because he's kind of lost in space when you have to spread him out in the middle of the field. But when he's engaged at the line of scrimmage, and he's behind Haloti Ngata, and he's behind Terrence Cody, and Corey Redding's been a really 3-technique, 5-technique guy. He's been doing a really good job. So Ray Lewis is he's a freak of nature, as you said. 16 years, still performing at a high level. And you know, some of the old timers might not agree with this, but I got to tell you, folks, Ray Lewis is approaching Johnny Unitas status.
He is.
Yeah. He's going to have a statue one day. I think he's deserving.
He might, yeah.
He is clearly the best middle linebacker or linebacker of all time. No one's done it for as long as he has, plus been elite and the best defensive player in the league during his prime. So he's right now, I mean, 16 years, like you guys said. I mean, he's in the category now as one of the top 10 or so players in NFL history. So.
John, you know, you might be absolutely spot on there. The fact that this gentleman plays between the lines and has had 30 interceptions, never mind the hundreds of tackles year in, year out, but the leader of the football team, the guy that can run, tackle, and sack, and then catch interceptions.
And the leadership.
It's really freaky. It's freaky what he's accomplished.
You know, I was listening to Eric Winston on the way down here today, and he was
the right tackle of the
Houston Texans, and he was talking about Ray Lewis during the game, and he said, you know, we've run a draw twice up to this game the whole season. And if you remember, there was a 3rd and 15. They ran a draw to Arian Foster. He took it for 16 yards and a first down. But during the play, Ray Lewis, even though they've only run the play twice all year, was saying, watch the draw, watch the draw. He said it was freaking him out because he couldn't believe that he knew that was coming before they ran the play.
That's one of his big strengths.
And this is the thing. You know, it's something we talk about it a lot. Sometimes you're not the biggest, the fastest, you slow down, and all. Sometimes you just have to be the smartest or the most well-prepared. You have to do something that's going to separate you from the other guy. And this is the problem I have with Flacco. He is just... You know, Ray Lewis.
I knew it was going to come around.
Ray
Lewis. In his heart. Go, baby.
Ray Lewis has lost a step, but his mind has not lost anything. Flacco has like a lazy brain. You know what I mean? He just cannot process. I'm not going to call him dumb, even though I think I just did. But he has a lazy brain. There's no urgency to his game. I don't know how many times we throw the big pass to Bolden, right? Everyone's happy. Everybody's standing up. What's the next play? Timeout, because there's 1 second left on the play clock. You know, we can't execute.
Maybe the play got in late.
Well, who knows? It doesn't matter. He's the quarterback.
That starts me. Don't you start that with me.
He's the quarterback. He needs to get him up there.
That's the worst
thing. At some point, you need to take control. And, you know,
just being devil's advocate.
I mean, how many big third downs aren't converted? How many times the Leach was out there on a blitz and he's holding the ball? I mean, just look at Aaron Rodgers. I know I'm not going to compare him to the best guy in the league, but what makes him elite? He gets rid of the ball quickly right now. He doesn't sit there and wait for the guy. He sees the guy coming off the edge, he just get it out there.
Well, let me bring this up, though, quickly. We've got about 60 seconds. The offensive line, though, clearly they've had their struggles. I don't think Andre Gerard at left guard, he's a center, and that's where he's been a Pro Bowler. He's struggled at left guard. Oftentimes they had McKinney have to help him out and have a back take on one of the outside linebackers who was rushing, so clearly they were having to aid him. I thought the line as a whole struggled. There were some delayed blitzes, which are tough to pick up, but again, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but it's a two-part process.
3rd and 7, we take a delay a game. Now that's hidden.
At home, that drives me nuts.
That's hidden because he makes a big play, the next play. We don't even talk about that. Mental error. That's my point with the lazy brain. He just makes mental errors and can't process the information. I mean, his skills, he's tough, and he'll deliver some balls. You don't know how he's doing it, but no question about that.
Well, we'll pick it up from there. We've got lots more to get to around the NFL. We'll come back. It's the Ravens Wrap Show here on Podcast Pete TV.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back in. It's the Ravens Wrap Show from the Ravens Room here at the Blue Ox, 127th Street, Coastal Highway in Ocean City. Ravens Roost 44 joining us. As always, loyal crew, we invite everybody to come out every Wednesday to our show. Now, Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Tony Lombardi, John Gary. John, we need you to draw the winner here. We talked about you come down, you have chances of winning merchandise. Go ahead, let's draw a winning ticket.
First of all, I'm surprised I'm still able to sit in this chair after the beating I took during the break.
We'll talk about Joe in a second.
All right, here we go. As long as you, and you don't win, I'm happy.
She didn't say it.
All right, here we go. Last three numbers, 529.
529.
Oh, there you go. Janet. It's the Smitties.
Coming up, Lou sporting the Maryland Terps gear. That's
Here's
tough.
your prize.
Tough.
Turn around and say hello to the audience.
Say hello to the
$20 gift
TV, Lou.
You won a $20 gift certificate, correct?
Pound your chest.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Lou.
Sweet Lou. All right, so in the last segment, Joe Flacco, offensive line.
Who?
We were talking about Flacco. I know, John, you feel like he processes information slower. He has issues. Now, here's the question. Carson Palmer earlier this week was traded from Cincinnati to the Oakland Raiders, okay, for a first-round pick and a conditional pick in 2013. It's a second. It could turn into a first. So
if they make the playoffs this year.
If they make the playoffs this year. So the question is, okay, since you're not the biggest of Joe Flacco fans, would you make that trade to another team?
Well, I like Flacco. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm a fan.
Okay.
I just am
But
frustrated.
would you make
I'm
that team if
frustrated.
you had two?
But absolutely. Given the front
Wow.
office's experience, not experience, but their
Track record?
with first-round picks and the ability to package those and really get something special, maybe have a lucky type of deal, if you know what I'm saying.
Number two?
I'd like to ask the audience if they
I
would
would
make
definitely do it.
Would you trade Joe Flacco for two first-round? No, I don't think they're in agreement with that. He may be slow, but we still
Well, what if Mark Bulger was still on the roster?
What if Mark Bulger came in?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hey, this isn't an indictment on Joe Flacco. This is a business decision. You mean to tell me that Eric DeCosta or Ozzie Newsome weren't sitting there thinking, man, I would have, They
were going.
What if I would do that?
Well, when you got a rookie, Andrew Luck, that Ernie Accorsi said, hey, at minimum 3 first-round picks if you're a team that has a spot and doesn't need a quarterback. But go ahead, Bruce.
It's just amazing because you all know, if you're NFL fans, you all should understand the Al Davis history. Al Davis has sued the NFL, his own people, more times than anybody else has done it. I mean, he's
litigious.
He's unbelievable. He's one of those guys. But when you talk to Oakland Raider players, the one thing they will say inevitably is that Al Davis, I will never do anything against Al. He's always for us. He stays with us. He helps us in every which way, and it doesn't matter. They will support him no matter what. Now, here's a franchise, again, Al Davis would be proud. They're rolling the dice. Hugh Jackson must know something that we don't know, because not many people around the NFL would do that, to go after Carson Palmer. They have a long history, but at the end of the day, then that means two things to me. It means that Kyle Bowler, man, can't even come close to even staying there for a week or two.
I think we know
And they have got to make a move where they think that winning now, which is Al Davis, win, baby, win. He's not all about George Allen type. It's not all about next year, the year after. And they rolled the dice, and we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, we will, but the thing is, with Carson Palmer, there's a lot of pressure on him now to deliver. I mean, here's a guy fresh off the street. He's going to start this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not even sure if they're playing at home or not, but he's playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. He's not playing flag football. He's going in there against an NFL defense. I don't care if it's a bad one or not, and he hasn't practiced at all. And all this pressure on him, I got to tell you, 2 first-round picks if they make the playoffs for Carson Palmer. This isn't the Carson Palmer from 2005. This is the Carson Palmer from 2010, and he's a shadow of his former self.
He stunk, and now he hasn't played. So you got to think he stinks worse than he stunk when the Bengals stunk.
That's called stink, stank, stunk.
So,
but fellas, let me just add something to this from a player's perspective. When you're stuck in the sewer, okay? When you're in that sewer, and that's the Mike Brown Cincinnati sewer, when you've been in there so long, sometimes you just go, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm not going to give it my effort. It's the same old Brown family. It's the same old Cincinnati Bengals. I got Marvin Lewis trying to fight and scratch for stuff. He's getting hammered. At the end of the day, I say, you all may be absolutely right, but if Carson Palmer has anything left in the tank, he'll play for Oakland.
I think you're going to get your best Carson Palmer. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Now, physically as a player, is he worth 2 number ones? But there's a bigger picture. The Raiders have been in the playoffs.
Why do you think you're going to get your best Carson Palmer?
Because, just as Bruce said, I think mentally he's a lot more into it than before. Physically, he's not there 100%, but I still think you're going to get the best Carson Palmer you've gotten in a while. He's going to be rejuvenated. He's got some weapons around him. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think he will be better. I think it was worth the gamble on Oakland's part. I
can't wait to have this discussion next week.
I mean, that should be wild. It's 4-2 Now, Tony, because it's Kansas City and because we're going to see this real quick, do they go with him? Let's talk about that in the next segment. Maybe they sit him down. You're not going to know that until Friday.
More of that, and we'll also talk about the upcoming game the Ravens have with the Jags and injury update. Tony will let us know. Ravens Wrap Show continues next.
JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net. Win a trip to San Diego for 2 when you attend the Raven Wrap Shows at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill on 127th Street. Get 1 free raffle ticket for every show you attend, Wednesdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Drawing is during the November 30th Ravens Wrap Show.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
What's going on?
We're giving Matt the NFL experience of a high-pressure field goal.
Look out! It's terrible, man!
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Hey, it gets easier. Really? No.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. The Ravens Room, Ravens Roost number 44 with us. And we want to thank our sponsors, of course, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, the Original Green Turtle, our Old Digs down the street, Bud Light, the Ocean City Golf Club, Ravens247.com, G&G Outfitters, FlyLady.net, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and our newest sponsor, JCTickets.net. You want to come down here, the more shows you're at, the more chances you have to win for that trip for 2 to San Diego, the drawing on November 30th. And yeah, we gave away some nice Ravens gear earlier to Lou and Janet.
Wow. $20 gift certificate. You're taking me to lunch.
We got to go, Tony, we got to go rapid fire on a couple things here before we get into the upcoming game against Jacksonville. Let's just run down a list, in your opinion, health-wise, from what you know. Jimmy Smith, Lee Evans, Tom Zbikowski, Chris Carr. Which one of those guys are going to be back, or how many of those guys are going to be back for Monday night, if any of them?
Maybe not any of them. Because you got to consider the opponent, too. If you want to get your club healthy for the long run, you might want to rest them against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I think of all those guys you just said, Zbikowski.
Okay. Ben Grubbs. Is this a toe injury? Is this going to linger throughout the year? Will he be back anytime soon?
Well, we've had our share of toe injuries with our offensive linemen, with Jonathan Ogden, I think, at the end of his career. Yeah. This turf toe thing is really a big deal with these offensive linemen. And Ben Grubbs, I think rest can help him. And there's no reason to bring him back any sooner than the Steelers game.
And I'll come up with something, because the turf toe is part of his ligament in his toe. And if he is partially torn or torn that, he could be out indefinitely. My old roommate, Don McCauley from North Carolina, had a turf toe, and I was laughing at him until I saw the doctor and it went through that. I mean, if that ligament is severely damaged, they may not be back, because you cannot do anything without that toe.
And you know Grubbs wants to be back on the field, too, because it's a contract year.
Right. Well, I'll just argue, though, I don't think Gerard at left guard in pass protection is very good. That's going to be a struggling area. We've re-signed Prescott Burgess this week. We cut Mark LaVore. And my question about that is, there's your veteran backup tackle in case somebody goes down. Now you're relying on Ja Reed as your backup tackle, and Mike Orr potentially having them moving back to left if, God forbid, Bryant McKinney goes down? What was the thinking behind that?
Well, they probably think that he stinks and they can pick him up again if they want to.
Okay, well, that answers that.
It's called Dover Downs. Roll the dice, baby. I mean, that's what it's all about. Prescott Burgess. He could be in and out, in and out.
How many times
is Burgess, right?
How many times has Burgess been on the roster?
Three, something like that. All right, quickly here, Tony, you've got some inside information. Of course, the big story over the weekend, Jim Schwartz, Jim Harbaugh going at it after the Niners-Lions game. Jim Schwartz went Arbutus on him, and former Mount St. Joe grad from Baltimore. But you had a little information about that tuffle.
Well, when you look at that, you think that Jim Harbaugh, and I think Schwartz is the guy that looks like the clown out of the two of them, really, because he chased him down the field. But, you know, these guys have a history together in two scenarios. One, they both were with the Baltimore Ravens back in 1998 when Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback of the Ravens, and Schwartz was a defensive assistant. So I heard that they didn't really like each other back then. But that was 13 years ago.
And then Schwartz said, with the lockout, you're not going to win any games at a dinner in March, I heard. So that didn't help either.
Yes. During these scouting combines, there was a little bit of an insult there. And I think maybe that carried over. But, you know, the action that happened on the field, the hard handshake, the slap on the back, I don't think that was what got him. I think something was said in between all that. We won't know the end of that. But these guys are moving on, so I guess everybody else should too.
Derek Mason, you had a little bit of information about him, and I thought, and I'll let you announce it, but I thought John Harbaugh did a very classy thing at the end of the game with him.
Saying once a Raven, always a Raven. Yep. So, and you know, the thing that gets me about the way the fans have treated Derek Mason is that all this booing and the bile directed towards Derek Mason. This guy is the leading receiver of all time for the Baltimore Ravens, both in receptions and yardage. He played in 96 consecutive games, plus all the, 7 or 8 playoff games. Guy was a warrior and a leader on an offense that was sorely lacking one, so I don't understand all the bile directed towards Derek Mason. But in terms of, you know, the inside information, you know, he was a little bit of a selfish player, but a lot of those receivers are. And Bruce
they're all divas. They're divas. Yeah. They are. I mean, every receiver I've ever been around, they always want the ball. They're always whining. They're always complaining. They're mad at you in practice because you're putting your hands on them. And the more they complain, the more you used to hit them. And that's what you got to do to those guys. But at the end of the day, you can talk about anything you want from Monday to Saturday. On Sunday or Monday or whenever the game was, Derek Mason came to play and put his mouth where his talent was and played very, very good high-end football every time he's on the field.
I agree. He brought it.
He brought it to me.
And John, he's probably in a better situation anyway in Houston. They throw the ball more, better quarterback there. So, yeah, he can contribute. He had a couple of catches on Sunday against the Ravens.
I heard he was traded to the Jaguars.
They'll play the Ravens on Thursday week.
I think he has a copy of the playbook. Yeah, Derek Mason, look, it took me a long time. I'm one of those Titan haters still from way back in that rivalry. Still gets me. But Tony's right. I mean, this offense was so void of any type of heartbeat at all. I mean, it was this guy, and he came every game. He ran every route. He didn't care about going across the middle or doing whatever needed to be done to help the team. He blocked. He did what he needed to do. I mean, the guy was. We should just shut up and give him a little. If you don't want to.
And we have to. More of the Ravens Wrap Show next.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here from the Ravens Room at the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City, here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach. Like the Decker sponsors, of course, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, our old digs at the original Green Turtle, Bud Light, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, FlyLady.net, and our newest sponsor, JCTickets.net, and they are providing a two-member trip to San Diego, drawing November 30th. You want to come down here, the more shows, the more tickets you get to be able to put in our box for the drawing on November 30th. Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Tony Lombardi, and John Gehrig as we preview the upcoming game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars come in at 1-5. Monday night game. It's amazing, by the way, the Ravens, no Monday night games at home. Jacksonville gets 2 this year. I don't know how that all went down, but anyway, the Jaguars 1-5, and just to go through real quickly the games, they start off the season with a 16-14 victory over Tennessee. But Chris Johnson, rusty, with the holdout, and they got up early, and really they out-physical Tennessee, and that's why Tennessee played us, I think, so well, because they got beat up pretty good in Week 1. They lose, though, 32-3 to the Jets in that one, tough game, 16-10 at Carolina in the monsoon game, 23-10 against the Saints, 30-20 against the Bengals, and last week a valiant second-half effort against Pittsburgh, but a little bit too short, 17-13, they lose, but it's a team that breaking in a brand new quarterback and Blaine Gabbert out of Missouri. Defense not bad, though, Bruce, offensively. Maurice Jones-Drew, God bless him, 10th rushing in the league with teams knowing they can't throw the ball. But again, you can't sleep on anybody in the NFL. Monday night, in front of a big crowd, team's going to want to come out and show their best.
Crowd?
Wow. Well, I'm sorry. There's your crowd.
We just got
big audience on TV.
We just got right on the Ravens Roost, Ravens Nest. They're all coming down there. They're all taking care of the lower deck. They're going to have more Ravens fans than there are Jaguar fans.
Well, kind of like Carolina last year.
Exactly.
Yeah. John Eisenberg had a great column at CSNBaltimore.com this past week about the anniversary of the picks, real quickly, of the 2 cities, expansion cities, and how that really hasn't worked out, especially for Jacksonville. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the fact. I mean, you're at home, a Monday night game. You're hoping your crowd shows up, but at the end of the day, this is something that we talk about as players and coaches for years. It's a business trip. You're bringing your briefcase. You're trying to close this out. You got to play the first 30 minutes. You got to start fast. And this football team, the Baltimore Ravens, have been doing that. They're 59-7, outscoring people in the first quarter, and they're closing games. So you go down there, you want to do this. You as players, you realize you want to play the first 30 minutes really strong, get Jacksonville where they know they're just working the other 30 minutes for la-las. And you get that done. And again, this defense was a young quarterback. I know you got the running back there, that little dynamo. But at the end of the day, you'll see what happens in the first 15 minutes of this game.
John, I would say that, a team like this, as Bruce talked about, get up early. Don't give them confidence. The longer they're in the game, the more confidence they have, even with a rookie quarterback. And who knows? You don't want a tight game at the end, even on the road. It's a game I think we can come out and blow them out.
Yeah, these are the types of games that Harbaugh and the Ravens, they just typically do not lose a game like this. So what the Ravens really need to do is come out and score touchdowns. I mean, the Ravens, I think, have 3 offensive touchdowns in the last 11 quarters. They're just not getting it done and punching it into the end zone offensively. So Ravens really need to come out and dominate. This is, the defense is, the Jaguar defense is pretty decent, but they can be gashed. Rashard Mendenhall this past week had been doing nothing all season and just completely ground them up for 145 yards. If we don't hand the ball off this week, we will never hand it off. Hand it off.
I'm ready to give my prediction.
Well, we still have another segment to go.
Oh, okay. Man, you're excited. You just want to go.
Well, this game.
You
I
just
mean, we
want
could
to get to Jacksonville.
We could talk
I'm
about
big
this
in
game.
Jacksonville too, by the way.
You are?
Oh yeah, I've been down in Jacksonville.
Stay
quite a
tuned
bit.
for that.
Ponte Vedra Beach. Don't forget to
Truth
get
or
to Ponte
dare.
Vedra. Oh yeah, baby, I'm big.
Well, you talk about run pass. Interesting thing, they're 8th against the pass, 19th against the run.
So hand it off. But here's what's
I
going
don't know
to
if it's going to happen or not.
We're going to set up the run by throwing it 15 times first, you know? And
It's a
give
new
it-
NFL.
Well, they
John.
do that. You know,
Get on
John.
board with the new NFL, John.
Cam's all about that. It's going to be interesting.
Didn't
to
he have
see-
a guy named Tomlinson once?
Yeah.
I mean, what did he do with that guy? Because he's not doing it with Rice.
Well, it's interesting because both of these football teams offensively, line play was hurting. Again, the Texans couldn't really hold off as well. Ravens had a huge problem with the 5-man rush, the delay 5-man and 6-man rush. You don't think Del Rio's going to give them the same taste? It's a copycat league.
That's a tough
It's
to pick
a
up.
copycat league. They're going to give them that, and we're going to see how they handle it.
Well, I look at this game as one where the Jacksonville Jaguars offensively are so one-dimensional. Blaine Gabbert hasn't seen a defense like this, and he won't see one like this until the next time he plays the Ravens. He had a little bit of taste of that against the Jets. You saw what they did against a bad Jets team. They, 32-3, did you say the score was?
32-3.
Okay. It's going to be a
Luke
little
McCown had 4 picks, but Gabbert didn't start in that one.
Well, it's the same sort of thing. Blaine Gabbert saw what he had.
Who's their
Well,
wideout?
they didn't do anything against Pittsburgh last week.
Mike
That was a
Thomas
good
is their
defense.
top wideout?
Their top, Mike Thomas, their
Jason
top
Hill.
wideout, Jason Hill, Mercedes Lewis, who hasn't really.
Who are those guys?
So I don't know. We'll try to pick that up and talk more about this Jacksonville Jaguars game, which obviously I think we'll be predicting win on that.
Stank, stunk. We're going to talk about it.
Ravens Wrap Show continuing next on
Stanky.
Comcast Beach TV.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
Welcome back into Comcast Beach TV. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here from the Blue Ox of the Ravens Room. Ravensers 44, give yourselves a hand again. What a great turnout this year. The Ravens, and you know the interesting thing, now this is my 4th year, and what is John Harbaugh? Something like 39-17. It's been 60% of the time we've been up here doing the show, radio, TV. You know, we've been winning. That's a good feeling. I mean, imagine having to do the show if you're a Jacksonville guy, you know?
Are you trying to take the credit?
No, not at all. You know, a little luck never hurt, but you know.
He's looking for job security.
Yeah.
He's hoping we don't trade him.
Not in this business.
He's hoping we don't trade him for 2 first-round picks.
You know, the interesting thing about this
We can
series.
get that?
Oh, for me, first-round pick.
Maybe get
Send him off to Oakland.
Well, maybe a 3.
Maybe 2 orange crushes.
Yeah.
All right, done.
I don't know what my
Tony,
trade
move
value.
over there.
I don't know what my trade value is out there. I have to.
We're so excited. Who are we playing this week?
Yeah, that's Jackson. Well, you know, the interesting thing about this series, guys, as you know, it was dominated heavily by the Jaguars going back to the early days of the Ravens, the initial days of the Ravens. And actually, Jacksonville still leads this series 9-7. The Ravens are actually 2-5 in Jacksonville, but Jacksonville won the first 8 contests in a row against the Ravens. Wow. The Ravens come back. They've won 7 of the last 8. But it's amazing how dominant.
Jimmy Smith.
8 of 9. Yeah, I mean, back in the day. It's going to be 8 of 9. Yeah, back in the day, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardle, Mark Brunell, they tore up what at the time was a pretty bad defense. We just couldn't score enough points. We scored 35. They scored 42.
It's like the San Diego Charger team I played on in 1982. We averaged 34
You played 14 seasons, right?
I think so.
I have that now ingrained in my 14 seasons. I knew it was around 12 to 14.
Come on, man. So I mean, again, this is a whole different Raven football team that these poor Jacksonville Jaguar guys are going to face. But I'm telling you, I want to watch the defensive front of Jacksonville against our offensive line for the first 30 minutes. And that's what's going to be surprising to me. And Jack Del Rio is going to send 5 and 6, a lot more. And they're going to make them pick them up. They're going to make Joe.
It's a fair point that, look, guys, our offensive line has been pretty good running the ball, but pass protection-wise, Tony, it's been shaky to say the least. So I'm looking for some consistency.
Well, what I'd like to see is some pre-snap adjustments when you can see what
How
these
about
guys.
the snap count, too?
Time out. You can't do that if you're not up to the line of scrimmage.
With enough time on the play clock. Fair enough.
Anyway.
Well, John, don't worry about it. You're talking about the check.
Don't worry about it. Joe Flacco has more control of the offense now.
Well, you thought he had more control of the offense. It didn't seem like it, but yeah.
No, when you get to the line of scrimmage and you see these things, I mean, I haven't seen so many guys come in at a quarterback untouched as I see against
free runners
against the Baltimore Ravens, and no pre-snap adjustments. And maybe part of it is that they don't get to the line of scrimmage in time. Maybe it's because the headset from Cam Cameron was busted this week, and Joe was panicking, didn't know what to call the line of scrimmage. You could talk more about that. All those things, I mean, they add up to. You just need to be more prepared. And Jack Del Rio is a good coach. He's a good defensive coach anyway. And I think that they're going to show them a lot of different looks because Joe Flacco hasn't proven that he can do anything against those different looks.
When you can't get to the line, when you don't have the urgency to get up to the line of scrimmage, you can't read anything. And the defense knows there's time's running out, so they know what the snap count's going to be. So
and the snap count's always the same, by the way. No difference in cadence.
And I think that's one of the reasons that Houston Texans had such a great defensive line play. You got to change it up every once in a while, and those offensive linemen got to go back to Joe and say, forget this on 1 or 2. Give me a hard count. Go on first sound every once in a while. Don't let them get in that groove that it's always on hut 1 or hut 2.
And Mike, if the offensive line is having a tough time pass blocking, well then let the quarterback is the leader. It's the most important position in all of sports. So your quarterback needs to execute not just physically with bullets and ropes and nice bombs, but he needs to execute mentally. And he needs to change the snap count and move the change 5 yards on the offsides. And he needs to keep the defensive line honest so that he helps our
I don't disagree. I think manipulating.
And that's why I'm upset. And that's why I say hand it off.
No, I agree. You got to manipulate the defense. You got to adjust. I thought we should have seen more 3-step drop last week to negate that, but it didn't happen.
I'm ready to go. Come on, bring it on! John's upset. It still fits.
Problem is, we don't need you in the secondary. That's the problem. It's the offensive line. If you're willing to play O-line, then...
No, I'm not playing O-line.
Hey, I'm trading for Flacco for 2 first-round picks, and I'm putting Bruce at the quarterback.
This is a heck of a lead-up to the Jacksonville game. We're throwing our quarterback out to the... All right, give us a breakdown. We got to get final prediction, 60 seconds.
Well, this is,
This is prediction segment?
Yes.
One-dimensional teams never do well against the Ravens. Blaine Gabbert, rookie, he's 37-6 Ravens.
Maurice Jones-Drew he's gonna be spending a lot of time in the cold tub come Tuesday morning. 31-3 Ravens.
I want to go on record. I think I had the number last week. I missed by 1. I think I had 28-14 Ravens. I'm saying a little bit tighter game. 24-10 Ravens.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to parlay that. 24-9. Ravens defeat the Jaguars. Ravensers 44. Thank you so much. That's going to do it for us. Thank you. It is the Ravens Live Show here on Comcast Beach. Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.